What's good, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Cheap Sense here, and I am bringing you all a top 10 list of signature scent worthy fragrances that I have in my collection. Now, obviously, I don't have an extensive collection like I had in the beginning when I first got started, before a lot of my haters started talking about it, saying that 80% of my collection was given to me or gifted to me. When I first got started, I had well over 350 something bottles before I even got a first decant or sample of anything from anybody. But for the most part, this list is consistent of the first 10 fragrances that I picked up out of my collection and smelled and decided that this could be signature scent worthy without being overly powerful, overly aggressive. I can wear these to work, an office setting or whatever and not offend anyone and get compliments in most cases. So let's get into it. First off, from the house of Mancera, and I know Mancera for most people is going to be a little pricey, but I do suggest that you get a sample or decant before you decide to make any purchase of any fragrance above 80 and going up. So the first one is from the house of Mancera, and this is Cedroc Boise, and this is a decant, and it's not going to show up good, so I'm not even really going to try to focus in on it too much. This one is pretty good. I like it. I can't tell you the projection on it, the longevity, because it's been a while since I've worn this. And I will say that the scent profile is nice. It's somewhat bright. It's uplifting. This can be worn in an office setting without making somebody allergies or whatever start acting up, unless they have real sensitive allergies and noses. But for the most part, this is a very nice fragrance. I suggest checking it out. Cedroc Boise. Number 9, I smelled this one in Nordstrom's a while back, and I fell in love with it. Not a very expensive fragrance whatsoever, so I do suggest if you can get a sample or a decant of this, or if you can pick this up online or something for a decent price, pick it up. Carven Low Intense. Now, I will say that this is one of those fragrances that is on the sweet side. If you like the sweetness that you get from something like Trace Nuit, then you'll love this one. The performance on this one is above average off of my skin. I wore this to the hospital some time back before I left there, and this actually performed well. Women absolutely was going crazy over this fragrance. Very nice. Oh, that smells so good, man. I just suggest y'all check this out if you can get your hands on it. Carven Low Intense. Now, this is the only clone house that I have in this. Well, I take that back. I have one more, but from this company, Lady in Red International, this is their replica of Creed Viking. This is a pretty good clone house. It's obvious that they're a replica company. It says on the front of their bottle. All of their fragrances that I have are eau de parfum concentration, 50 ml bottles. I reached out to them. They responded back. They sent me 5 of their men's fragrances and 1 female fragrance, which is their female version of Creed Aventus, and I actually gifted that one to Trey Sense for his old lady. But Creed Viking, the original Creed, is a very nice fragrance, and they actually hit it right on the head when they made this fragrance. This has that same note of like a peppermint or something vibe to it. Slightly barbershoppy, if you can call it that. Very nice fragrance. Now, the story has it that after Creed Aventus, This one was supposed to be the next up in line to take up the mantle of the king. And for some reason, this didn't pick up. Not a lot of people actually talk about this fragrance. I actually love it a lot. And not just because I have the Creed replica version here. I actually like the original that I smelled in Nordstrom's. I like it so much better than the Creed Aventus, than any of those other fragrances that they have out. I like this a lot. This is more on the masculine side. Definitely a power suit, going to work every day type scent. I like it a lot. Very inexpensive also. I think they run like $30, $35 if I'm not mistaken. You can go on ladyinred.com and check them out. Next up is from somebody who has been nothing but a positive, very bright ray of sunshine in the fragrance community. And there have been people who have been trying to take this guy's joy from him, and he is not letting it happen. So despite what people think or say about this guy, this fragrance that he put out, which is his signature scent, I also said it in a review when I first got my decant of it, that this smells signature scent worthy, and it's from George Zaharoff. This is Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. Like I said, even before I even got this bottle, I had the decant. And I actually still think I have that decant. I didn't even use it all. I wore it once. But George then proceeded to send out, when he got everything situated, these bottles to people. And this still, to me, is signature scent worthy. It's not overly stringent. Has a nice vibe to it. Definitely, like it says, a signature scent. Can be worn day or night, any time of year. And he put his heart and soul into this fragrance. And I pray that things get back to normal, because I know he's taking a hit along with other fragrance companies out there with everything being closed. So George Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme, definitely signature scent worthy. Now, not a lot of people, as far as I know, talk about this house. I know Sam Broom does, because Sam has a lot. And I think he says that this particular company is one of his favorites. And it is from the house of Cartier. This is Santos de Cartier. And this, when I first got it, is one of the best smelling barbershop type fragrances that I have in my collection. I have a couple of barbershop fragrances, but this one probably is the best. It's not overly stringent. I know, what was it? Happyland Studios had a barbershop fragrance, and to my nose, I didn't really care for it much. I actually gifted that to another subscriber, but personally speaking, I think this one is the best that I have in my collection. What more can I say about it? Has that barbershop type vibe to it. It's not overly stringent. It's not one of those overly strong fragrances that where you take a deep breath and you're about to choke or something like that. This is perfect for me. You can wear this to the office. It's going to smell great. Your scent trail is going to be phenomenal, especially for women who like a man that smells like a man. So Santos de Cartier, check it out. And it's not expensive either. I found this at TJ Maxx. Another one that I feel that is signature scent worthy, that is very, very nice. And I've heard a few people talk about this one, but it doesn't get a lot of mention. Has a note of honey in here, which makes this a phenomenal smelling fragrance. This one is from Cartier also. This is Santos de Cartier. And if I said it wrong, I apologize. I'm not good with these names. And this is the one that looks like there's a bottle sitting inside a bottle, as I've heard somebody else say. Has this cool twist atomizer thing. Keeps you from spraying it. Twist it down, it locks into place. Has a decent atomizer. And it smells great. This is a perfect signature scent worthy fragrance. Has that honey in it that gives it a little bit of sweetness. And I think in the air, this is nice. This also came from TJ Maxx. You can find these around Christmas time. They had gift sets of a lot of Cartier fragrances. I don't know how they were in your personal cities, but here I found several. Sometimes I did have to travel to Jacksonville, Florida to a few stores, but for the most part, finding these were in abundance, excuse me, around here. And this smells great. I love it. I love it a lot. So if you see this one, Linval or Linval, however you say it, de Cartier, check it out. Next up, which is number 4, one of my favorites, even over Dylan Blue. This is from the house of Versace. This is Versace Pour Homme. This is signature scent worthy. I don't consider Dylan Blue a signature scent personally, because to me, it is overly stringent. I actually wore it once around my kids, and maybe I oversprayed, but I think this one is a little more subdued. This is what a professional, an office professional would wear. It's not overly stringent. It's not going to run anybody out of the office. It's not going to have people, when they're talking to you, you sitting behind your desk, they're not going to be holding their face or holding their breath while they talk. This is very nice. I wanted to find a bigger bottle of this, but for some reason, the prices were a little steep around Christmas time on these Versace fragrances. I did manage to get Dylan Blue in a big size, but I didn't find this one at a right price. But hopefully I will. I don't use a lot of the same fragrances over and over and over, but this is very nice. I think anyone should have this in their collection. It is fresh, perfect for spring and summer. It probably wouldn't do too well in the fall and winter unless, like I said, you're in an office setting or something like that. Working outside, this probably wouldn't do too well for you. But in an office, yeah, it works perfect. So check out Versace Pour Homme. Number 3. Everybody knows this fragrance. If you don't, I don't know what planet you've been living on. I actually had a smaller bottle of this, and I sold that one because I picked up this big jumbo guy. And this is from the house of Dolce & Gabbana. This is the one. This is the EDT. Now, if you want to get your hands on the EDP, and which I have here, then most definitely pick it up. But to be honest with you, in my personal opinion, and I've worn both of these fragrances, there's not that big of a jump as to performance. Now, the EDP does smell a little more richer. It smells like it's a little more on the expensive side than the EDT, but performance-wise, it's going to be around the same. It doesn't jump that much. It may get me an extra hour, maybe an hour and a half over this one, but I get about 5.5 hours out of this anyway. And that's long enough for me to go to a movie or go to dinner or whatever. Perfect, what I call close encounter scent, but perfect also for the office setting. Couple of sprays of this is all you need, and it should get you through at least the majority of your work day and got me a lot of compliments when I wore this. I wore this around 2 different females that I was dating at 2 separate times. And both times I got a lot of compliments, especially like watching movies or something like that. And they were leaning on me or laying on me. They kept telling me how great this smelled. So the Dolce & Gabbana, the 1 EDP, I mean, it's kind of boozy, semi-sweet, great smelling fragrance. I can see why it's as popular as it is, but a lot of people don't like the performance. So check that out. Next up, this is also a cologne house, in which most of the time you're going to see cologne houses in my videos. I know there are a lot of people who are trying to stray away from having cologne houses in their videos, and that's fine and dandy. You do your thing. Everybody's channel is different. For me, it's not all about how many subscribers I have or how many I can get. This is just a hobby for me, and I don't plan on doing this forever. I've stated this several times before. I don't even do videos like I used to because I'm working so much now. But cologne houses are going to be a mainstay in my collection. I feel that there is room for cologne houses. There are a lot of people who can't afford to or don't want to spend that kind of money to buy those high initios and all that kind of stuff. And I feel that these cologne houses are doing a great job. So they're always going to have a place in my collection no matter what. And I'm going to continue to do my videos on them. This one is from the house of Alexandria. It is called Boardroom. And this is supposed to be a clone of Jeremy Fragrance or Jeremy Fragrance's Office for Men. I actually like this one. I wore this to work when I was still at the hospital. And I got a lot of compliments while wearing this fragrance. If you don't want to pay, and I understand what Jeremy is offering his fragrances for, then I highly suggest getting Boardroom by Alexandria. You can get this decant from them if you don't want to buy a full bottle. More than enough juice to last you for a while. And if you decide you want to get a bigger bottle of this, then by all means, go ahead and get it. But I understand completely. If you don't know what this smells like, it is a somewhat bright, vibrant type smelling fragrance. I'm trying to think of what else it's close to. If you've ever smelled Coach for Men, the original Coach for Men, it kind of gives you that kind of vibe a little bit. I'm not saying that it smells alike, but it kind of gives you that kind of vibe just to try to put you in the ballpark of what this smells like. But this is much better than that particular fragrance. So Boardroom by Alexandria. Give that a shot. That's number 2. And last but not least, this is definitely a signature scent. When this one was, not this particular bottle, but when this fragrance, when I first got this fragrance, my ex-wife, she was the one who bought this for me before we got married. We were at Walmart one time, and I saw this. Burberry was popular at the time, still, and I wanted it. And she ended up getting it for me, and I love it. I actually smelled this on a customer on the Emerald Princess Casino cruise ship that I used to be the manager over the kitchen. Guy came in, and I smelled it, and I loved it. And so I got my hands on it. It became my signature scent. I wore this almost every time I went somewhere. Smells great. Another ex-girlfriend of mine years later ended up taking it from me. And I ended up with this little guy, which is Burberry for Men, which is the fragrance I'm talking about. And then I recently found not too long ago, or before the stores closed down, this big guy. So I decided to get it. And I was trying to find somebody to give this one to, but my son didn't really care for it. So I don't know, I'll figure out something. But Burberry for Men is definitely a signature scent. It's been around for a while. I know some people may not be big on Burberry, but definitely a signature scent. Performance on it is not bad at all. It's average. Great when you dress up. Even if you have on casual wear, like maybe t-shirts and jeans or something, you know, kind of casual. It's still great. Probably not the best performer in cold weather, fall and winter, but I do feel like you can pull this off any time of the year, especially if you're in an office setting. Outside, not so good, but Burberry Pour On, guys, for men. So that is my list. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you think that something shouldn't have been in here or something should have been in here, let me know in the comment section what you would have thrown in there. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Once again, thanks to all my haters. Thanks for the support. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.